Hey class, I want to talk a little bit about the event poster, which is assignment for this semester. And specifically, I want to address how you might consider making some alternatives to any type of photography that you're placing into the poster. The composition can look very clunky and somewhat amateur if you're taking text and clipped out images and that are photo based and trying to pull them together with some, say, vector objects into a poster composition. So there are some alternatives for working with photography that actually involve using some of the filters in Affinity Photo. Um, and I want to show you what those options are so you could consider them. This would be kind of more on the scope of where you might be working with your composition after you've placed your images. You feel pretty much 75% of the way completed with designing your poster, but you really want to give it that little extra kick. So let me see here. I'll share my screen and then I can talk about a few of these options. So here I've got a couple of objects here in Photo 2. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about um, using some artistic filters that you don't necessarily find in Photo 2. And this here on the upper right, which is a picture of my dog, was actually filtered uh, with a tool called Vinci on a phone. So you don't have to, you can do your filtering and your alterations of photography outside of Photo 2. You don't have to do it inside. I think that there's a lot of options out there on the internet that you can make use of to make your photos more interesting looking. And I guess this is a good example here of where, here's a photo that has been filtered and so that it gives it more of an interesting and dynamic and less photography based feel. So you can find Vinci online, something you can download to your camera. And here's some examples right here. Let's see, I don't know if it, right. So you can just kind of filter through, but look at these options and see how they make, especially with this dog shot here, how they really make the image really stand out and pop and give it a lot more flair and interest, especially I think if you're working or developing a poster. So that's an option there. And then you can just bring the image in, right? You just go to File and Place and drop it in. Here's a couple of other images. I just want to talk about some options that are in Photo 2. Now, remember when you're placing images in on your composition, you'll want to make sure that you rasterize that photo. That's going to give you um, more options for filtering and doing some interesting things with it. So don't forget to rasterize. And then up here in the menu, you'll find all of these different filters. I've been just sort of playing with some of them here. Under colors, there is the Voronoi, and you can see how it creates these polygon shaped cells, almost as if you're looking through like glass, right? So that's kind of a cool option. You could also maybe even do a halftone. And you don't have to do it as dot, you could do it as line. Right. So essentially, it gives you a lot of options, and I could see where this line halftone would look really good with typography that was on a horizontal plane as well, maybe up here in the upper right. So that's kind of a cool option. The other thing I want to talk about is this object here, which I think I've already rasterized. And I've created a curve. So I used the pen tool over here on the left because I wanted to grab one of these flower shapes. And so you're going to use the pen tool to create a clipped path around it. And then you can go to selection. And there you've created a separate selection. So you could take that and you could maybe like, copy it several times and use that in an interesting pattern. So you can do this sort of repeat by, copying and pasting objects that you actually clip out from photography. I can see where you might do that for this. You might want to clip out this gear shape here, right? It would give you the option to then maybe sit it over something else so that you can actually have sort of a layered effect with different types of flowers or patterns. And as well, you can easily use your filters on these in terms of even changing the colors. So you could maybe adjust the colors so you could have a variety of different flowers with colors, or you could do a distort, right? Or you could add noise, right? So these are all different options that I think you should explore at this point. It's a little bit more advanced, but it gives you a little bit more of a handle on making these posters unique and original. Okay, that's it.